Hello, second graders. I'm Dr. Reese and I'm the principal at McCaskey High School. Today, I'd like to read a book to you about bees. There are thousands of types of bees, but today's book is about honeybees. Let's read our book, How Would You Survive as a Bee? Written by David Stewart and illustrated by David Antrim. How would you survive as a bee? You are a bee. There are over 20,000 species of bees, all of which evolved from wasps many millions of years ago. You are a member of one of the most social species, a honeybee. You live in a colony with other bees like yourself, and you harvest pollen and nectar from flowers in order to make your food. The life of a bee can be difficult. It's a lot of work taking care of your nest and raising new bees, and there are many dangers. It's time to answer the big question. How would you survive as a bee? Life in a colony. You live in a wild honeybee colony. The nest is a very busy place with different bees performing specific tasks. It contains a colony of 20,000 to 30,000 bees. There are female worker bees, like you, male drones, and a queen. The workers do all the work in the nest. The drones, however, have just one function, to mate with the queen. They do no work in the nest and are usually only there during the months of late spring and summer. Bee babies. Bees reproduce by laying eggs. All of the eggs in a nest are laid by the same bee, the queen. She can lay up to 2,500 eggs in a day in the summer months and more than 1 million eggs in her whole lifetime. As a worker bee, one of your most important jobs is to look after the eggs as they hatch into larvae and grow into new bees that will eventually replace you in the colony. Collecting nectar. As an older worker bee, it is also your job to visit flowering plants outside the nest to collect nectar and pollen. You also manage to pollinate or fertilize the plants at the same time. While you are collecting the nectar and the pollen with your legs, some pollen from the stamens, the male part of the flower, sticks to the hairs of your body too. When you visit the next flower, some of this pollen is rubbed off onto the stigma, the female part of the flower. This fertilizes the plant and causes it to produce seeds and fruit. This means that you're not only helping your colony to survive, but lots of species of plants as well. As a bee, how do you find your way? If you want to survive, it's important not to get lost when you leave the nest. Luckily, your internal clock tells you how far you have flown and how far the sun has moved during your journey so that you can always find your way home. Scientists have discovered that the neurons in bees' brains transmit information related to changes in direction and distance covered, allowing bees to navigate effectively. These are in the part of the brain called the central complex, the same part that controls navigation in the brains of humans and other animals. Why do bees need honey to survive? Collecting nectar is vital for your survival as a colony. This sweet substance is used as food for the colony during the winter months. The type of nectar you will gather will affect the color and the flavor of the honey. You store the nectar from flowers in your honey stomach, which is next to your normal stomach. Nectar is about 70% water. To turn it into honey, the water content must be reduced to about 20%. Joining the swarm. Is the place starting to feel a little crowded? If the colony you belong to gets too big, this means that the queen's pheromone signals can no longer reach all the workers. For the bees who don't receive the signals, it's as if the queen doesn't exist, so they start raising new queen larvae. Before the new queens hatch, the old queen departs the nest with her loyal followers, including you, gathered tightly around her. This is called a swarm. You will journey with your queen to find a new home for your colony elsewhere. Look out! Danger everywhere. Although you have strength in numbers, both your nest and its individual bees are at risk from predators and parasites that prey on your species. When you visit a flower, you'll have to be on the lookout for ambush predators like bee wolves, crab spiders, and praying mantises, which specialize in catching unsuspecting bees. Mammal predators like bears and skunks also eat bees. The story of beekeeping. People have collected honey from nests for at least 10,000 years. Gradually, people figured out how to keep bees in our artificial hives. They learned more about the behavior of bees and how to exploit this to increase honey yields. But bees have also become threatened by the activities of humans. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you'll keep on reading this book to learn about beekeeping and bee family trees. At the end, you can take the bee quiz. After this video ends, I'd like you to open your book and write your name on the book plate that is on the inside front cover so everyone knows this book belongs to you. Thank you to all of the donors to the Lancaster Education Foundation who made it possible for you to receive these books to take home for your home library. Enjoy your reading, second graders.